Hello everyone and welcome to Jason's Poker Card Quest and welcome back to another edition of the Completionist Corner. Today we're going to be talking all about evolutions. Now the evolution set has been a recent fan favorite. It's always been loved by everyone because the evolution set is a huge throwback to the Wizards of the Coast era, grabbing a lot of those cards from the first couple of sets of the game back when Wizards of the Coast printed, and really brings a lot of nostalgic factor without bringing in the high price that collecting those older sets brings. So this is a really great set for collectors to jump into, to be able to appreciate that artwork without having to pay for the age and the history of the cards behind it. So as always with this particular set, or with a particular series, we're looking at the cards that are reprinted that are not available in packs. And there's always cards that you cannot pull from packs that still maintain the card number and set symbol from this particular set, and either are generally either holographic or non-holographic reprints, or have a special stamp on them. For me, collecting the entire set means collecting all of these cards to get that big old 100%, and it's a collection goal of mine anytime I'm going after a particular set in its entirety. And I want to share all the information with you from all the research that I've gathered as I look through each of these different sets. You can check out the previous videos. We did one on Sword and Shield, and we did one on Shining Legends, and here let's dive right on into Evolutions. As always, we'd like to start with the pre-release. The pre-release build and battle boxes, which have been coming out with sets for several years now, always contain some sort of promo card in them. In recent years, in recent sets, they've been actually Black Star promos, but with the Evolution series, the promos that were included were actually not Black Star promos, but were reprints of cards in the set. These were holographic cards that you could find in the packs, but they had stamped on them the Evolutions logo. And these cards are Charizard, Gyarados, Mewtwo, and Machamp. These cards, you get one per build and battle box. Of course, you didn't know which cards you were getting. Now, generally, these promos are fairly affordable on the secondary market, but because of the nostalgic value of Evolutions, the fact that they look exactly like the cards from Wizards of the Coast era, with a couple small variations, these do command a bigger price on the secondary market. Charizard, ungraded, is going somewhere between $70 to about $150, and Gem Mint 10 graded copy can go all the way up to $300 or more. Whereas Gyarados, Mewtwo, and Machamp are fetching anywhere between $20 and $100. $100 being the 9 and 10 PSA graded versions. As with pre-release promos, there were staff variants, so these were cards that look exactly like the regular participation promos, but they were stamped with staff on them on the top left corner, and those are fetching twice the price of your average promo for the other kind. So if you're interested in something that may have some value that's going to grow over the next few years, but do not have a whole lot of money to invest in collecting the really high value cards from the bygone eras of Pokemon collecting, you may want to look at the pre-release from Evolutions, because they are great looking cards, and I do believe they will maintain their value, if not increase over time. Speaking of the build and battle kits, there were non-holo variants of Ninetales, Poliwrath, Mew, and Nidoking, one of the two, and Hitmonchan, which you could get any of those or all of those, probably not all of those, but depending on the configuration of a particular build and battle box, you'll get one or two of those non-holo variants. They are holos when you pull them in the packs, non-holos only in the pre-release kit. Speaking of Evolution's products, of course, you have the theme decks, the Mewtwo Mayhem theme deck and the Pikachu Power theme deck. Mewtwo Mayhem theme deck contained a cracked holo variant of Mewtwo, while the Pikachu Power theme deck, as you would expect, had a cracked holo version of Pikachu. These theme decks also included non-holo reprints of other set cards. For Pikachu, you could get a non-holo Raichu and Magneton, and the Mewtwo deck also contained Nidoking and Hitmonchan, which you could find in the Build and Battle boxes. So potential to double dip there a little bit, but there you go. Those were the cards that you could get exclusive to the theme decks that you could not pull in packs. Now, if you will remember, there was a store around back in the era of yore called Toys R Us, and they did participate with a Toys R Us stamped exclusive card for this particular set. In October, you could get Charmander, and in November, you could get Electabuzz. And this is, of course, 2016, the year this particular set came out. So these were little sealed promos that you could go into Toys R Us and pick up with, I believe, with a purchase. I have to do a little more research, and I'm sorry, I don't know the full acquisition method of these cards. But there are plenty of them out on eBay right now. Electabuzz, you can pick up a sealed copy of this card, somewhere between $5 and $10 shipped. And Charmander is fetching somewhere between $12 and $20. Probably because it's Charmander. Starter Pokemon always tend to fetch a higher price, and it is 1 month older, and there may not have been as many. I'm not 100% sure. But supply and demand, of course, Charmander is a little bit more expensive, but still, for a good $25, you could get a copy of each of these for yourself and have not only a bit of history from the Evolutions era, but a bit of history with the Toys R Us logo stamped on these cards. And these are hollow variants, too, which is nice because Charmander and Electabuzz are non-hollows in the set. So it gives that nice cosmic hollow that you find not only in the set, but that does have that harkening back to the Wizards of the Coast era. Moving into the play Pokemon, the competitive side of the game, Mew was the champion League Challenge promo for this particular cycle, for the evolution cycle, and there was a first, second, third, and fourth place stamped holographic Mew that you could get. Mew is a non-hollow in the set when you pull them, so if you want this hollow version, these cards are available. Now, I personally... This is where things get a little muddy when it comes to being a completionist. Stamped cards that have places like first, second, third, fourth place have a bit of a trophy element to them. Now, League Challenges are available at your local FLGS. So the number of copies of these in circulation are substantial. Whereas trophy cards are usually limited in quantity, and that quantity is typically known. So I consider the Mew stamped 1, 2, 3, 4, first, second, third, fourth place for these League Challenges to be part of this Evolutions Completionist reprint set. It is something I'm going to go after when I start collecting this side of Evolutions. But there is an element of Evolutions that I'm actually going to shove aside and put in the trophy category. And that is the 2017 World Championships. There were several international championships that occurred prior to the World Championship. These were like regional level events. So the Europe International, or which was actually just labeled International, was held in London, England, December 9th through 11th of 2016. The Oceania International was held in Sydney, Australia, March 10th through 12th of 2017. Latin American International was in Sao Paulo, Brazil, April 21st to 23rd of 2017, and the North American International Championship was held in Indianapolis, Indiana, June 30th through July 2nd of 2017. Now, all the information I have found about the this particular promo I found on the Elite Four boards. That is a collector board run by SM Pratt, and definitely worth checking out if you are interested in stepping foot into the more heavy-hitting collector side of the game. Now, that could be spending $50, $100 a month. That could be spending thousands of dollars a month on Pokemon cards. But someone did collect all the information about this particular card, and surprisingly enough, Double Colorless Energy, a refracted foil or reverse foil version of this card, was the promo for this particular event. Now, for my personal collection, my personal purposes, there is basically a participation promo and a staff promo for these events. There is one for each of the 4 events. It is stamped on the bottom right with the international logo, but the logo says something different depending on where it was. It was either says International, Latin America, Oceania, or North America, depending on the region where that card was released. However, in addition to the participation and the staff promos had the word staff stamped on them. There was actually a top 8 promo that was released. And for each of the events, there were only 64 copies. So that's 192 copies total. And there was a champion promo, which there were issued 6 copies an event for a total of 24 copies in the world. Of course, 6 copies with each of the stamp. So depending on how you look at it, it's either 4 versions of 6, 4 different versions of the card, 6 copies each, or 24 champion cards of Double Colorless Energy. These are mostly PSA graded at this point. A lot of them have fallen in the hands of collectors, and a lot of them are selling in the $400 to $800 range, PSA graded 8 or higher. So it is harder to get your hands on these, and based on the number, the quantity, how these were obtained, the top 8 and the champion variants of these cards, I'm classifying as trophy cards and not putting as part of the completionist set for evolutions. You can do with it what you will. I just know personally I will never, I don't say never, I may win the lottery. It is unlikely that I'm going to obtain the top 8 or the champion card anytime soon, and even if I did, I don't think it would go into a binder due to its rarity. So there you have it. That is the Evolutions alternate prints or completionist cards that are part of the Evolution set, contain the Evolution set symbol, but are not obtainable through Evolutions packs. What's interesting about this set is there were no special collection box cards, which we do tend to see with a lot of the newer sets. So for whatever reason, I don't know if this is a time frame thing, and I think that'll be something I'll discover as I go through all the XY era to see if this is a trend. Because right now I'm just cherry picking these sets based on kind of what I'm interested in collecting. And since the last collection, completionist, whatever I'm calling this thing, Completionist Corner video, I have either purchased or completed the alternate prints for both Sword and Shield and for Shining Legends. So I'm looking forward to getting all those together. If you're interested in seeing those, let me know in the comments below. If you like this series, let me know in the comments below. I'd love for you to subscribe and check out my Pokemon pack opening videos every Sunday and Wednesday evening at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as typical with this season right now and the allergies that are going around, I tend to lose my video voice towards the end of each of these videos. So on that note, I will see you again next time.